Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Board Game Heaven Talks Accessories. And this time I'm going to take a look at these paint racks by Laserox. Laserox is a company that makes all kinds of accessories and inserts for board games out of wood by laser engraving them so you can punch them out, stick them together, and then you have your accessory. And I needed some paint racks because, I keep them stored and I don't paint enough and it's a hassle to take them all out. So I wanted a solution to put all my paint ready into racks, just to put them on the table quickly and get started whenever I have a little bit of spare time to do some painting. So this is all of them. I have several straight sets for bottles and for dropple bottles and pots, basically, with some drawers to put underneath them. Same with a corner. So I'll assemble these and then I'll show you what I think about it. Alright, so I'm going to put together this paint rack first. This is a drawer that goes underneath the paint holders by Laserox. Got a whole stack of them over here, so I'm just gonna show you how to put together one of these, and then I'll put all of them together and show you the final result. So I got some wood glue here, and from Laserox, they were kind enough to provide one of these with the sets. So you basically just take the instructions and you check what pieces you need and how they fit together. So this is the drawer with dividers if you want them, and this is the tray where the drawer slides into. These are all the pieces. So I punched them out already, and it's just basically a matter of just gluing it all together. And if you want, you can check which side has the most burn marks. This side is a little bit more darkened, so I want this side to be on the outside because it's a bit neater. And I could even, this is the most burn side, this is the cleaner side. I could make this the bottom and this the inside, but doesn't really matter that much. But I'll just do it like that. And then this goes on the inside as well. And here, well, this one has a couple of stains here, so I'm gonna make that the insert. I mean, it doesn't really bother me that much, but if you're, if you want it to be as neat as can be, then you may want to check. So it's basically just a matter of sliding it all together, and it's pretty tight, so it will hold very tightly, but I'm still gonna add a little bit of wood glue, just to be safe. And you only want to apply it on the parts that actually connect. So don't put it on the underside of these, just put it on the insides of these notches, and then on the side of these, or if you want, on the inside of these notches. But I think it's easier just to use one piece to put your glue on and then shove it together. And always remember to use some kind of mat when you're gluing stuff, because you don't want your nice tablecloth or play mat or whatever, or your table, to get all glued all over it. So yeah, let's just get started. So there it comes already. That's pretty easy. And I might actually get a small brush out so I can kind of apply this a little bit more easily and more equally. And then when it comes out, if I press things together and glue comes out, then I can actually mop it up more or less. So I'll be right back. So I just grabbed an old brush, an old one that I use for applying glue, also for applying glue on foam core kits. And so, you can just apply it like this. So anything that's superfluous, you can just wipe off. All right, so this is one of them. And then I'm just gonna diagonally ease it into these slots. Hopefully they'll work easily. It is rather tight though. All right, I just grabbed a small hammer. Now this is actually just a little bit too big. This is used for putting nails into the wall or in wood. But yeah, it's fine. Yeah. There's not a whole lot more. That seems to be perfect. All right. Then I'll put in the back to keep this one straight. So there we go again. Now, unlike the Elmer kind of glue, the white glue that you use for paper and foam core, that dries relatively fast but is easily washable. Wood glue tends to dry up a bit harder. So you're gonna want to clean out your brush regularly or it will just get hard. Now, probably with some hot water and some soap you can still get it out, but it'll be more of a hassle. Oh, actually, I'm just gonna apply a little bit of glue here as well. Now be careful with the small parts, like this edge over here, so you don't break it. So you really have to align it all well. And just gently tap. Maybe even using the back of the hammer. It's not completely in yet, but I'll fix that. And as you may have noticed by the third part, I'm already feeling confident enough to give this quite a bit of a knock. So it can withstand quite a bit. So it's a little bit more difficult to put together than a foam core insert, because that just all slides together. You can push it and it's super easy and light. But of course, wood is a sturdier material, harder material. It's very tight as well. But yeah, still, this is easy enough. Well, let's start with the underside. So the immediate downside and upside from of wooden inserts that I can just think of right away. So the downside would be the time you need to put it together. Now maybe I'm being incredibly slow because this is my first wooden accessory in this case that I'm putting together. So, you know, I'm not being very fast and I'm being careful, but with a bit of practice and more confidence, this will probably go a lot faster. So it does take a little bit of your time. Plus, you know, wooden inserts are generally more expensive than foam core inserts, although I have seen some inserts that were actually cheaper. But that may have been just at Spiel, you know, discounted on Sunday. But in general, it's more expensive than foam core, obviously. But the upside is, of course, that you will have a very, very sturdy and you know, something that will last a very long time, that you can add to your game and make the gaming experience better because of, you know, quicker setup and better organization of your gaming material or your paints or whatever. So that is an upside. You will have something very solid and very sturdy that will last you a very long time. Now, of course, if you're careful with your foam core, that'll last a long time too. But you know, if you've got a game that you use a whole lot, then foam core is gonna wear out sooner than wood, of course. Though, you know, it hasn't happened to me yet. I think you can't go wrong with either. Foam core is good, wood is good. It's just what you want from your game. You want it to look a little bit more exclusive, a little bit more chic, then wood does look better. I've seen some really cool products from Laserox, and foam core is just great. And if you're building it yourself, you could use the white or the black, but the stuff you buy in the stores usually is just the plain gray. But it's very functional. I really like both solutions. I usually actually go for foam core because of the cost. It's just cheaper and it's lighter and it's easier to set up. But you know, once in a while, I kind of want to treat myself, and I'll go for something a little bit more extra, a little bit more exclusive. And you know, then you might choose for wood. All right, that looks like it's nice and flush. All right, looks good, and it's already so solid. I mean, there's nothing that can go wrong with this. So I'll take my inserts here, and I'll need to take these first because they have the slots on the upper side, and this goes over. So there's two of these, so I can put my dividers in here, and I don't have to. I mean, I could just leave it open. So you don't glue these, obviously, so you can take them out later, and they just slide in so easily. A lot more easily than putting these together, obviously, because they thought about this. They made these grooves just a little bit wider, just a hair wider, and then this just slides so easily. I mean, there, it's out. And it's in. I mean, this is perfect. And then you can put this anywhere you want in any of these three spots. So you can put one here. There you go. Have a bigger compartment there and different sizes there as well. Or you can put it in the middle and have equal dividers. I'll see what I am gonna put in here. I don't know yet. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So let's continue with the rest of the box. So we have the bottom here. This is the bottom. So you have this opening so you can grab your tray more easily. Of course, you have a hole here as well. But yeah, okay. So this is the bottom. Don't have a preferred side for this. And then this is the top. This side will be the front without the notches. So let's see, this is the nicer side. There's a couple of burning spots there, so I'll just make that the top. And let's see, I'll probably start with, doesn't matter. Let's see, yes, it does matter in this case because of the modular system. The sides have these ridges here that stack upon, if you have more, they stack like that. So the next tray just goes on top. So they have notches like that. So you have to slide stuff inside. So that means I'm gonna have to slide them in like that. Like that actually, because these notches go on the back side. So what is the most handy? These go last. I have to do the back first. So this is the back. I'll do this first. Let's just think that over. I'll do this first. And then I'll probably have to do this because that slides in. And then I'm gonna have to do these because this has notches all over. Has notches in the bottom, the top, and the back. So these have to go last, which is a bit fiddly because putting these three together will make it a little bit unstable. But I'll have to just try, I guess. So what should I do first? Should I do that one first or this one first? This I can just knock into place again. That is 3 slots. I think I'll do this first. Yeah, I'll probably try and do that first. Okay, let's just see how that works. And it has a hole in the back too, so you can push out the drawer from the back should it still get stuck for whatever reason, if you put too much stuff in there. So there, this is the first one. Now this is a bit more tricky. Getting one in is pretty easy. Yeah, and then you have to do the next. Okay, there we go. And the third. I think I got it. Yeah, that's good. So then I'll gently just tap that in place. That was easy enough. All right, maybe I'll just use my brush to clean this up a bit. There we go. So then the top. All right, well, let's just apply the glue. Oh, actually, stupid. I didn't have to glue it all the way through. I'll just clean that up with a bit of cloth, a bit of paper, after I put it together. So pay attention. Don't make the mistakes I'm making. I put glue all over the edge there, and you don't need to. And you want that to dry before you stack them or you'll glue your units together. Now, having learned from this side, I'll do the other side. And I'll just keep this alongside so I know where it stops. So it's basically just, I don't know if you can see that, just the middle part like that, just a little bit to the left, to the right here. There we go. And then over here, it's the entire side. Well, it's getting harder to squeeze. And then on this side, I only need to apply a little bit of glue here and here, right? And then here it goes up to here. There we go. All right, last bit. So align that properly. Now you can actually just push it over. And then this part here, there we go. Okay, just a bit. I don't want to knock it all the way until this one is in place. As you can see, it does bend a bit, so it does have a bit of, how do you call that? A bit of play before it would actually crack. Because it's just, you know, it's just, what, 3 millimeters thick? There. All put together. Yep, and that looks the way it's supposed to be. Didn't do anything wrong, I hope. And then this is supposed to slide in here, so let's see. And it does quite nicely, actually. That's so great. It goes all the way in flush. That's pretty nice. And then you can see the back here where the drawer hits the back, and you can just push that out, or you can simply just put your finger under here or your thumb here, or just do it like this. I mean, it's easy enough. You don't really need to, you could just push. So that is really cool. I'll just leave it out for now so this can dry, so it doesn't get caught on any little bits of excess glue that might be in the corners in there. So that's basically how you put these things together. It's quite straightforward, quite simple. And I'll go clean my brush, and then later I'll put everything together, and then I'll show you the entire setup. Okay, so I got a couple of these paint racks that can go on top of one of these drawers. So I'll show you how to put together one of these as well, although it's really straightforward as well. But just because it's different from the modular bottoms that you can put these on with drawers and whatnot, I'll show you this as well. This does have some differences. So, but basically by covering one of these trays and one of these drawers that I did, you've seen everything you need to know on how to put these together. See, where here is the instruction. There it is. So that's also pretty straightforward. That's the result I should end up with. All right, and I just love the smell of the wood when you open these, take them out of the plastic. Oh, that's just so good. I love that. That's the smell of the burnt wood. Ah, it's really nice. Oh yeah, this does have a couple of points where it's still attached just a little bit, but you simply twist and it'll just pop out like that. So there's nothing else on this that I need to keep. All right, and again, Just checking to see if one side is prettier than the other, but yeah, I think this is gonna be the inside. And then I'll just twist these and push it out, twist this, push it out. That is so easy. I thought it would be harder, but it's really easy. So again, here is one that you want to twist. And another one, twist, pops out. Just twist that, pops out. Nothing else there. And another one to twist, pop out, twist, pop out. And this also, and you can see it's exactly in the middle. I could just turn it around fully. So doesn't, if you need to twist it more than 180, you can, but I didn't, so that's good. And I've got 4 of these that I can also just twist and then just take out. That's really well made. They've put a lot of thought and probably testing in this over at Laserox, because that just works brilliantly. All right, but the green ones, that's these, they are slightly different. Ah, see there, this is the difference. The biggest difference is in where the notch is. So there, yeah, you have to pay attention. So these actually should not have been named A4, not both of them. The green one with A4, that should have been a different one, because they are different. And the main difference being that when you put them together, there's just a slight size difference there, but maybe that's not important. But what is important is where the notch is. If you align the notches, then you can see the difference, and the difference is clear. So this one will be further out and this will be further in. So I guess this is not the one to go here, because these pots need to rest on this. So this one goes here. Yes, and this, see, this aligns. Turn that around so you can see that better. See, so this one goes here, and this one, these two should align, because that's where the pots go through and they rest on this one. So yeah, there's a tiny little fix you need to make there, Laserox. A4 and A4 are not the same. Right, having figured that out, I'm glad I took the time to figure that out. I'll just take these out one by one, put some glue on, and then take the other side and put that on, and that'll be it. That's everything. So I'm glad I took the time to show you this, because it is quite different from putting together a tray. A tray is much more stable. This is a little bit, as you can see, a little bit wobbly. So I'm glad I used glue. Well, yeah, you just had to use glue, because otherwise it will fall apart. And that we took the time to properly align these two trays, because that is important. But once you get it together, it's nice, and this part in the back will make sure it will stay stable once it is dried. I can move it a bit now, but I can already notice that once it is together, if I take it like this and I press it between my palms, it's not going anywhere. It's just, you know, I really have to push hard to make it even wobble a bit. So yeah, I'll just let that dry. So I've been working on putting everything together, and while I was making the big double tray here, this one, I hit a bit of a snag, because I'll show you. This is the bottom of the tray, and this is the back, already glued together. And this tray had 2 notches. So it had a notch here and here. It also has a support on the bottom. But the sides just like the sides on the small tray, the small drawer, only had a notch on the front, like this one, but no notch on the back, like this one. Now this really doesn't need a notch here because it has the back here that supports it, and that's all connected, so that's not going anywhere. So that's fine. But this one is of course taller and has these two big drawers in it. And so there's more weight going to rest on the bottom, which I guess is why this also has a support here on the bottom. So it won't sag once you put stuff in. Not that it's gonna be that heavy, but still. So for some reason, they gave the bottom 2 notches, which would have been a good idea to give it additional support, but then the sides should have had a slot here, and they don't. And it's also not on the instructions. If you can see that, you can see that the bottom here only has the front notches, and the sides have also the front slot. So maybe Laserox decided, well, you know, maybe for the big trays, it's better to add a slot here and a notch here, and I agree. But they apparently only did it for the bottom, and they forgot to do it on the side. Now, I did contact them about that, and they said they were going to fix it. So I just, you know, meanwhile, just filed off. I sawed off these notches, filed it a bit, and I'm just gonna glue it. And this, I mean, the side with these notches is gonna hold it up anyway. But just to be sure, I mean, this is not going anywhere, I can tell you. So this is solid enough. But just to be sure, I kept a couple of these round punch outs from some of these. I think were the big ones on, no, you can't see that. But I had some, well, let me just take this one here. One of these for the paint racks, and these were in here. There were just a couple left that apparently got wrapped into the shrink wrap. So I kept a couple of those, and I glued 2 of them together on top of each other with some wood glue, because these 2 are exactly as tall, oops, there it goes, as this little support here. It's exactly as tall. So what I'm gonna do, just to be safe, is glue these on the bottom here. Even though it's probably not gonna make a difference, it will help when putting it together, at least, you know, so I can rest this on the table more stable. So that's just my quick fix for that. Otherwise, you know, there's not going to be a problem with this. And I suppose that the newer batches of these will have a notch here and a slot in the sides as well. That's basically it. I'm just going to continue putting this together, and then I'll show you the entire setup. Something I almost forgot to show you, I've put together this corner rack, and something that I found really clever is that you can see all the little holes below the bigger holes. And of course, these fit dropper bottles. This is a dropper bottle rack, but the smaller holes are for the tip of the bottles. So you can stick them in like that when they're almost empty. And that is just super clever. I mean, it probably would have stood up like that as well, but this is just very cool. Won't get knocked over, won't fall out. And, you know, on all the levels, they made these holes. So that's good thinking. So my final thoughts on these paint racks by Laserox. First of all, I'm very happy with them. They're very convenient, they're sturdy, they're fun and easy to put together. They are modular, so you can build them in any way you want. I do suggest to plan ahead if you have a painting station or a table that you want to paint on. plan which modules you want to get and if you need a corner or not, because once you've put them together, you can connect these paint modules, these racks, together with clips, but the bottoms, they don't have clips. You basically just put these on the table, you can stack them on top of each other, and they have grooves that fit into each other so they don't slide. It's all very sturdy, but you can't pick them up. If you pick these up, you just lift them off of these shelf units. So if you want that to be permanent, you can glue them together, but then that will be permanently glued together. So while it is modular, it's best to just put it in place. And if you want to move it, disconnect the connectors from the top modules and just pick up one of these units at a time and place them somewhere. I'm personally thinking of just taking these two units, gluing everything together to make one big unit, so I can just pick that up and put it on my table and paint, and leave this one off for now, because two is very easy to handle. You can pick up two, and not more than that. I wouldn't recommend that. But if you have a permanent painting station where you just want to put these racks and just leave them there, then that is fine. You don't need to glue anything together. You can just leave them modular, and that way you can also change it up later if you want to move your table somewhere, or you're moving house, or you want to add some stuff and rearrange it. That's all perfectly doable. But in my case, I'm just going to store this somewhere on a table or in a closet, and just pick it up and take it out, put it on my painting table, and just start painting. But if you do have the room, that's fine. You can just put that down, and it's very handy. It has these drawers that you can even push out from the back, and yeah, with modular dividers, you can take these out and place them wherever you want. Just leave them out all together and just put stuff in. So I put some clippers in here and some knives and one of these model holders for painting. And in the bottom drawer, I've put some more materials. I had some washes that I didn't put in here, and I just put them in the drawer, and they fit nicely. This is just the right height to put a pot in easily. I have some cloth, clippers again, some glue, all kinds of stuff, and that was all very handy. And in this one, I've got some bigger things. I've filled this one with bases, just lots of bases. And this one is mostly empty still, so I have some room left. The corner, though, does not have any storage underneath it. They just have two raising platforms, basically. If you raise it up 2 levels, basically this tray means that I have to raise everything up 2 levels, because this is 2 levels high, and these are just a single level, but you can build it any way you want. So if you don't need a corner, I would suggest just getting straight parts, straight modules, so you can still store something underneath. But if you're gonna put some units on into the corner as well, then that's just you might want to pick up a corner module and just raise that up if you have drawers underneath. So all that works very nicely. The pots go in easily. That's just a nice space to hold them. The dropper bottles go in. Now these have some stickers on them, so they're a bit tight, but it works. I mean, I can still turn them, and that works nicely. And it's just this brand. The other brands are a lot looser. This is Reaper paints, and this is Army Painter. I have some Vallejo somewhere here, and that also fits in a little bit more easily. So, but they all fit, and that's perfect. That's what it needs to do, and it fits your brushes. And I've got some brushes with a thicker handle, but these holes will accommodate those as well. So it does everything I need it to do. It holds my brushes, holds my pots and my bottles. It has plenty of storage space for other stuff. It was great putting these together. So yeah, it's absolutely something I would recommend checking out if you need a painting station. I'm giving this a big thumbs up. So that was the Laserox painting stations I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon if you want to get a notification whenever I upload a new video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on Board Game Heaven.